Good afternoon, everyone. Kalla here, welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it. So, today, let's finish up, hopefully, the case of the serialized killer, which we started towards the beginning of the month. So last time, having been invited to a party for the purpose of performing a séance to solve the death of the hostess's friend, which we were going to bullshit because we can't actually summon ghosts. Various things happened and the hostess ended up dead, I believe in the same manner that her friend did. And now it's up to us to solve this crime. Because everyone is stuck in here because we watered the entire place. So it's got to be someone at the party. Hello, Drag. How are you doing? Yes, we also have a whole bunch of notes currently on our to-do list. We need to get Goose to admit that they took the tooth, because that's also something that's missing from the curiosity cabinet. And we have to confront Noak here with his motive. Bits of a cold. Yeah, my throat is still not at 100% from mine, so I hope yours goes away faster than mine does. I had a very relaxed Christmas that mostly involved Christmas TV and Trivial Pursuit and food. So, how was yours? Right. They returned to the parlour, feeling much more optimistic about their chances of getting some answers. So, where were you? Now I think you're ready to tell us where you were when Belle was murdered. I was with Dear in the hallway. She said she heard someone moving around upstairs. Also, I apologise if the voices I'm doing are different to the first half, because I don't remember. Didn't she tell you that? No, she didn't. Noak gave a deep, fatigued sigh. She's trying to frame me. Hello, Hunter. I'm doing okay, aside from my throat not being 100% recovered. How are you? Very aspirational. To have a marriage where your wife wants you to get framed for murder. Did you see anything suspicious? Sure, I saw Clarice run past us to get up the stairs. Seems suspicious to me that she'd be in such a hurry. Confront him with his motive. Deleuze claims you had a reason to kill Belle. She says you were trying to sabotage her. Having a motive doesn't mean I did it. Don't make us get her to come back. Noak rubbed his shoulder. Ugh. Yeah, honey tea is supposed to be good. I have, out of the assortment of teas that I was gifted for Christmas, I have a green tea that is flavored with lemon and honey. So I'm hoping. Look, if Dea says I wasn't with her, that means she has no alibi either. And she has a history with murder. I don't want to get her into any trouble. I say she was with me. It's on her for saying I wasn't. And hey, if Dea gets the rap for this, maybe she'll need me to speak at the trial. Wait. You know what? I take back what I said. I was completely alone. Let her come crawling back. I suppose a judge could strike testimony from the record. But this isn't a court case. You're just talking to two guys. Two guys who know you and Duluth have an alibi. You're no fun. Yeah, I think we're done here. Okay, what have we now added? I assume that we have added something to... Where's this page? His him can force you to do things, but only if you fear him. Yes, did we strike it off the to-do list? We did. And we are finished talking to him. We need to ask Clarice why she was on the stairs and get Goose to admit they took the tooth. Okay, we've been to the music room. That's where Dea was. This was the parlor. Goose is in the toilet. But we don't have some good things to convince him to tell us things. So, the dining room. Why did you write his name so far down the page? I assume there's an order that they were actually written in for the game. So. When they reached the dining room, there was a figure sitting on the windowsill, curled up and still in the moonlight. Who's this going to be? Clarice, maybe? Oh, I see. The figure was poring over a thick sheaf of papers. What a difference that makes. Hello? Oh! The figure scooped up the papers, shoving them under a decorative pillow, which did very little to hide them. Hello? What are you both doing here? We only wanted a moment of your time. Where were you when Belle was murdered? I was in here. I really love the decorations. Belle put a lot of things from her own house into the story, as Duchess Baker's style and taste. I'm trying to absorb inspiration. Didn't Belle say it was the parlour that was styled like Duchess Baker's room? Oh. Everything you see is part of my method. What were you doing on the stairs? Stairs? Yeah, Marek said he saw you running on the stairs. Is he sure? Well, I'm sure that this death is going to put your stage show even more in the spotlight. Did you really want to travel and get famous that badly? Of course not! At that moment, Clarice could no longer hold back and burst into tears. I'm sorry. I didn't think anyone would even know. Clarice cried into her hands. I was on the stairs because I took the manuscript for the first story out of Belle's office. She probably had it out to write the play adaptation. I just really wanted to see it. I honestly thought I could just run down here and look through it without anyone seeing me. And then run back up and put it back. Belle's office door was open. I snuck in there after an imp left. I thought it was a cleaning imp, but the place was a mess. But then I heard that scream. I shut the door behind me, hid the manuscript, and went to find out what had happened. I was going to put it back. It's been right here, safe and sound. Why would you do that? It sounds stupid and embarrassing, but I'm just a big fan who completely overstepped my boundaries. I'm so ashamed. Clarice's eyes welled up again and she sniffed loudly. Now I can't even apologize to Miss Belle for it. Where is the manuscript now? It's on the windowsill, right over there. Clarice retrieved the stack of papers, still wiping away a few tears with her free hand. I really was in here after that, I promise. I understand if you don't believe me after what I did, but I really hope you find out who did this. Miss Belle was such an amazing writer and a kind person. Clarice looked at her feet and held the stack of paper out to Faraday. You should take this. I'm sick just thinking about it. If you can summon Miss Belle's ghost, please tell her I'm sorry. I'll do that. Harold and Faraday left the room, feeling, not for the first time that night, deeply awkward. She seemed genuinely upset. I want to believe her. I want to believe no one killed Belle, but we have to be skeptical. For example, look at this manuscript. It's the first Constance Littlebear story. And as really neat as it is to be holding it for real, I could swear Belle said she wrote in blue ink. This is black ink. People lie all the time, and for the weirdest reasons. Sometimes it's just really hard to tell what to believe. Indeed, it seems like everyone here has something they're hiding. But so do I. I can't judge. Let's check the notes. What's on our to-do list? We have finished speaking to Clarice. Have we added anything to her page? Yep, Myers took the first Littlebear story from Belle's office. Oh, we're also adding where they are, I see. Why does it matter what colour of ink? I guess the question is this the real manuscript, or is it a forgery? Well, let's move through into the kitchen. Yep, that's who I thought would be in here. When they reached the kitchen, Vance was there, sitting with a stool and a small notebook. Her hands were fiercely trembling, but she seemed to be forcing herself to write. A gentleman? She did not look up until she had finished her sentence. I must ask you to leave. I will not casually chat with Belle's killer. Madame, we are all under suspicion. I still believe we have more to gain by working together. I decline. If you won't answer our questions, I'll just assume you did it. Very well. Ask your questions and then be gone. Where were you when Belle was murdered? Vance stood up from the stool she'd been sitting on, hunched over a small notebook with a black fountain pen. Ooh, black pen. Da-da-dun. I was looking for her up in her office, but she wasn't there. I started to look around the other parts of the house, and then I finally saw her. In the boiler room. Vance turned away and shook a bit. My composure failed. I admit that I screamed when I saw her. After that, I came in here. I feel safer with the kitchen imps to protect me. The imps. They're plenty strong, so don't get any funny ideas. I just need to wait for morning, and this long nightmare will be over. Who would have a motive to do this? All of them! You saw that she'd received that threat. One of the guests is a hitman that barely shows their face. They are clearly hiding something. I feel like that alone is more than enough evidence for the police. Though, if you want my opinion, Goose is clearly a red herring. You mean you think that Goose is a ruse? Yes, a ruse goose. Because they are not the only killer here tonight. She shot Harold a particularly venomous look. Feeling guilty? You should be. Everything went wrong as soon as you started trying to summon that ghost. I have not had a chance, Hunter. I have been far too busy. And I kind of have the detective game thing for this channel kind of planned out for the next pretty much year at this point. Given all the Ace Attorneys I've still got to play. How many detective games are in the backlog? Well, the immediate backlog is... Let's go look. The immediate backlog for this position is Mysterious Thief, Forget-Me-Not, The Murder Hotel. Those are the things that are technically backlog. And then it's jumping into the rest of Zero Escape, the rest of Ace Attorney. I've got another code. I've got multiple Sherlock games that I already have. Why do I feel like there was a new Poirot game out recently? Busy. Oh, I've got there's the Either Somnium Files spin-off. No Sleep for Kaname Date. That's on the list. There's a lot. We'll be starting with the actual backlog. As in stuff I've already started. Anyway. Hey, I know you're upset, but Harry didn't do anything wrong. He clearly did. You saw it yourself. The lights went out. And then she was robbed and murdered. And I have heard the rumours about you, Ludicael. Everyone has been tiptoeing around the subject. But I really don't understand. How is a man with a demon allowed to roam freely? The same as any good, respectable citizen. I keep to myself. And you know, the rumours of what my demon did have been incredibly embellished in the retelling. I suppose you must have used the last of your good connections. And I'll trust the word of my associates, thank you. And not the word of a wash-up like you. I'm sorry? Harry, quit apologising for waves you didn't make. Alright, let's try someone else. Vance looked back down at her notebook. Away with you! Well, I think we'll need to come back, because I don't think we're done here. No, we're not. Did we gain anything on Vance's page? No. Oh, did you miss something? Yes. Everyone has an imp, and if those imps are fed enough, was it? They can become demons. It's somewhere in the notes section. Here we go. Demons. Everyone's got them, but some people have smaller ones and seem to think that they're different, but they're not. To the office. When Faraday attempted to open the door to Belle's office, it wouldn't budge. Damn, she locked it. Well, we did find a key with Belle's body, but it was melted. We need to find another way in. I assume that's gone on the to-do list. Yep. Find a way into Belle's office. Okay, we can't go back down to the scene of the crime. We do still need to... Well, I guess we could go back to Dia, because it's like, why didn't you tell us you were with Noak? Oh, welcome back. Gosh, how long has it been? It's been like minutes. Couldn't you stay not here? It was so nice when you weren't here. Ooh, oh, is this who we're going to get to help us break in? We need your help. Everyone seems to. Please. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to do at the moment. And you two are too chumpy to have committed any murders. Thank you? Just don't get your demon out or whatever. I heard that it melted a guy's wife's hand off. In a jar of acid. At a party. That's a new one. You said you can break locks. My imp won't let me get locked into any place. So, technically, sure. If I can frame it right. Dea's imp looked like a large metal key. It scampered free of her pocket, tears rolling down its handle. Why is it crying? It pushed firmly against the door, and, despite its small size, the door pushed smoothly open. Oh, it doesn't even act like a key, huh? The imp muttered through tears as it pushed. "Let me out! Let me out!" "Are you okay?" "Why wouldn't I be? It just does that. Like I said, imps are weird. And what they say doesn't mean anything. They're part of your soul, right?" "Thank you, Miss Deleuze. That's all you needed. And then I'm off. Snacks are calling." Harold and Faraday entered the office and saw what clearly constituted a murder scene. Aha! The true scene of the crime! And the body was incinerated afterwards to eliminate the evidence. Scorch marks on the carpet and a mess of papers that were not scattered on their previous visit to the room. Oh, so it's possible she was burned here. It's possible she was in fact burned to death anyway. I see. There were several cabinets that were open, and the mess made it difficult to know where to look first. Shit! This place is a mess. There's no real way of knowing what objects would be relevant unless you could have a look around. Why me? My sight's better than Deleuze's, but not by much. No. Use... you know. I don't want to do that here. You said I had to do this for Belle. So, Hawley, can't you do this? At least to solve her murder? Fine, stand back or go in the hallway or something. Sure. Ooh, we get to find out what's up with Faraday's eyes. Faraday took a deep breath and took off his glasses. Okay, everything is suddenly redder. Oh, okay. Right, what is this? Belle's script for the play. It burned up with her. Almost none of it is left. It's not salvageable. Yeah, I think it's like a sealed demon thing. I think we learned from the notes, right? Maybe? Yeah, the professor has already successfully done this on 2 people. Show photographs of my eyes. What's this? This is part of the script too. Hours and hours, all ashes. I wonder if it will never get made because of this. What will happen if it's gone forever? What if you climbed that and fell backwards and just broke your head open? Almost nothing left on top except for a few pens and blue ink stains. Will the next person who owns this desk even know who Belle was? Imagine just running at this glass and trying to jump out. Harry Seal would push me back. He would save me without even knowing. Alright. What am I missing? This. Right, the burn mark. There's a burn mark on the ground and one on the ceiling. She died right here and nobody heard it. Did she just combust? Could I just burn up like that? Could Harry? What if the killer comes after us next? Oop, no. Oh, draw. It's pulled open and something is missing. Something that belongs here is gone. I won't be able to find it if it's not in this room. What if that's the whole reason she was murdered? Ooh, glowy. Another page of the script. What a waste. Death is so senseless. People are gone so fast. You piece of shit! How many times have you run away? You could have done something with your life. You are the most pathetic loser. A man with no impact might as well have never existed. Belle wrote thousands of words more than you ever will. And now she's dead and her work will outlive her. What work have you done? You don't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing you ever do will be worth anything to anyone. At least Harry has done something. You're too broken to finish a single thing. He's too good for you. When you die, not a single person will care or remember. He tried to keep looking, but the room felt bigger and bigger every second, like it was going to swallow him. Oh yeah, this is definitely Faraday's demon talking, right? That everything inside felt incomprehensible and impenetrable. His whole life felt like something he wished he could forget. His failures, his unfinished work, they all felt like 1,000 pounds manifesting themselves on his chest. He stared at the room and at every single object, saw the terribleness of a cold, uncaring world that would burn or fade or rot. The room reminded him of how he didn't deserve to be here or anywhere. He was worthless. He lost control of his breathing and the world felt like a stage he wasn't even on. His heart raced and his face contorted into pained, gasping sobs. He couldn't make words. He struggled to stay standing or catch his breath. "Hawley! I'm coming back in!" Harold moved close, wanting desperately to make it stop and to put his arms around his shaking friend. Even though his arms ached to hold him, hoping that protective feeling would reach him. But he waited for permission. Faraday's voice was just a series of gasping sounds, but between them he managed a strangled word. "Oh. Okay." Aww. Harry pulled him into a hug and Faraday burst into tears. He moaned and tried to catch his breath between wordless, pained utterances. "I'm sorry. I'm right here, Hawley." Harry's arms were tight around him, the pressure familiar. Hawley wanted to sink deeper into the grip, to fall back through the years to when this embrace had been his on a whim. Even now, Hawley could feel an awkward curl in Harry's fingertips. Hands once so comfortable with his body now didn't quite know what to do. "What did you find out?" Faraday choked back a bitter laugh. Right. Back to work, huh?" "Sorry. This isn't exactly a thing I do regularly." "Right. Hopefully it was something important." "You're really awful at comforting, you know." "Sorry. No. Let's just stay here for a minute." "That's enough." He almost felt Harry pull away, but with a sudden fierce affection, his arms wrapped tighter. There was a lot he wanted to say, but he bit back every single one of those words. After a couple minutes, Hawley found it easier to breathe, and they got back to work. The murder took place here. That burn mark, that's where she died. It wasn't in the boiler room. And whoever did it also burned up the entire final draft of her play. I'll get that written down. So, Faraday grit his teeth, then managed a cocky grin. Where to next? We've said everything we need to say to Deleuze, so let's head back into the hall. Alright, so we've got into Belle's office, we've finished talking to Deleuze. We need to talk to Goose and Vance and the Fae, whose name escapes me right now. Oh, there we go. Lupine. Let's go see if Goose will talk to us now. Oh. I keep forgetting to close the door. Well, let's get this over with. No, we still don't have anything for that. It's, really cramped in here. Please leave. Okay. So we're done there. We're done in the parlour. Right, let's go see if Vance will talk to us. When they returned to the kitchen, Vance barely looked up from her writing. Come to bother me again, I see. Why would someone burn her script for the play? What a horrible thing to do! I had no idea it was burned, or she'd been working on it tirelessly. Well, it's almost completely gone. I doubt anyone can use it. I'm sorry. At least her legacy can continue. Even if all her notes are gone and I have to go back to the originally published version, I'll make sure the show goes on. After all, the creative voice behind the Constance Little Bear mysteries is not entirely departed. Oh, did you work together on this? As her editor, I can continue the stories for her. I came in here to start making notes right away. It felt like the only way I could respect what she's leaving behind. I'm getting real suspicious of Vance. Like that original manuscript, which was apparently in black and not in blue. We'll let you get back to it, then. Right, we're done talking to Vance. Can we go back into the parlour, but without talking to Noack? Noack did not look pleased to see them returning. Nope, we can't look around, okay. We can't go back down there. We're done talking up there. Where on earth did Lupine go? Possibly in the office now that we've opened it. When they returned to the office, Yeah, there you are. What are you doing in here? Snooping. You shouldn't. He gave up. May we ask you a few questions? By all means. Where were you when Belle was murdered? I was checking on Goose. They're usually real tough, so I was surprised they were sick. So you've met them before this? Guess the cat is out of the bag on that. Such an adorable detective, aren't you? He leaned a bit closer to Faraday with a wink. Faraday blushed and stammered. Yeah. So you know them? Why pretend not to? I'd rather come clean. I don't want to deal with getting a murder pinned on me. I'm a thief, not a murderer. I'm guessing here, but I feel like everyone we talk to is going to say they're not murderers. But at least one of them is a liar. Ask Goose, then. They'll back me up. Say I told you it's okay. Ah, this is how we're going to get Goose to admit to it, huh? How did you find out about this party? We've been planning this for a while. We got floor plans, got her to run into Goose. And whenever she decided to let them in would have been all the chance we needed. Why come steal something when you can't get out? That would have been exciting to deal with. But it wasn't something I planned for. This party just happened to be when she invited them. I found a way to sneak myself in under the circumstances. I didn't know you would seal the place, though. There's no way to get out of here until morning. That was a bit of a hitch, but I'm sure I could have worked something else out. A challenge! It would have been fun. Did you like my trick with the lights? You really scared poor Clarice. No one got hurt. No one was supposed to get hurt, at least. I really don't know what went wrong. Did you see anything suspicious? I really didn't. I wasn't paying attention to anything but the prize. The prize being? I just love demon sharks. Hate to break it to you, but there's no such thing as demon sharks. Don't tell Goose. You'd break their heart. I think we're finished talking to Lupine. Aww, I thought we could pour through Belle's notes and fill up on some fun stories. Come back if you change your mind. Bye for now, cuties. Alright, Goose. Keep forgetting to close the door, blah, 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 blah. Right. Lupine says you can tell us the truth. Okay, if he says it's okay. Lupine and I are partners. We work together to steal imps that belong to other people and give them back to their owners. A sort of Robin Hood for imps. I did steal this. Goose reaches under their hat and held out the sharp pointed object. Well, that... yeah. I mean, it's definitely a shark tooth. That looks kinda poisonous. You seem like you're smart enough to know this isn't a demon shark tooth. Yeah, but we didn't know what it actually was. It's someone's imp, and they deserve it back. Maybe it's better if I take it and seal it up. No way. Goose pulled it away and put it back under their hat. You don't have the right to deprive someone of part of themselves. Maybe they got rid of it for a reason. No matter the reason, living with only part of yourself will always feel empty. Well, Goose would know. Looks like we're done talking to Goose. It's, really cramped in here. Please leave. After everything we saw and heard, I'm pretty sure I know who killed Canterbury and Bell. Faraday nodded. Me too. It's... Okay, do I know? I want to say it's Vance. I want to say it's Vance. Because, right, I'm pretty sure it's not Lupin or Goose, because they had something else to be doing. The thing is, so she was burned to death in her office. Clarice said she saw an imp leaving the office that she thought was a cleaning imp, but when she entered it was all messed up. So I think Vance used one of the rented kitchen imps to do it. That's my theory. And she took the opportunity of having a bunch of people inside the house to kind of be a smokescreen. Well, and also because she was worried about the seance. Because as far as anyone but us knows, that seance was going to be real, and we were actually going to talk to the other lady who was killed. Yeah, it's gotta be Vance, right? Me too. Do you want to check your notes before making an accusation? Because now would be a good time to do that. Yeah, let's double check then. Let's double check. Right, Gareth Canterbury, who was a popular illustrator of blah blah blah. We don't need to look at these two pages. Bernadette Bell. Tonight's host writes the Constance Little Bear series. Published her first story under a pen name. The first story whose manuscript we've seen, and it's written in black pen, while Bernadette claims that she writes only in blue. And we've seen Vance writing in black. So, did Vance write the first Constance Little Bear book? But obviously realised she couldn't write it under her own name because she's known for children's fairy stories. I don't know. There's something there. But, yeah, but Goose is not the killer. Dea... Her imp can get her into locked spaces. That's true. But how's she burning someone up? Clarice? Well, she did steal the manuscript, and she did that after the murder actually happened, but before it was found. I guess she's also, in a way, an option. Because she was in the right place to do it. But there is no way she would also burn the play manuscript. There's absolutely no way. Not unless she's working with Vance and Vance wanted to rewrite it. Obviously Vance wants to rewrite it. She's already doing that. She's already doing that before we told her that the script was burned up. Lupin, he's a thief. Yeah. Vance, I really think it's her. This dude's an asshole, but I don't think he did the murder. I would like to save. If I'm not checking them now, then I assure you I don't need to do it at all. The culprit is... It's gotta be right. It's gotta be... Surely... Is there anything I'm missing, guys? Is there anything I'm missing? Because, like, it's not Goose or Lupin. And Clarice doesn't really have a motive for this. Nowak does have a motive, but I think he's just an asshole. Dea... I really think it's Vance. I do like it when games make me pick. I do like it when games make me pick, and I might not be right. Vance! I mean, it's pretty obviously. Harold put a finger to his lips, then whispered, "Shh, wait a moment." He leaned in and quietly continued, "I'm certain we're on the same page, but let us proceed with caution. We cannot tell where exactly the rented imps may be. We cannot allow them to suspect that we think it is..." He mouthed the word. Vance. Hawley nodded, and then stated loudly, "Since all of you said it wasn't you, it must have been a suicide. No murders in either case. Mystery solved as far as I'm concerned." He tilted his glasses down so that Harold could see his eyes, and gave a big wink. Harold did his best to act annoyed at this, instead of incredibly charmed. They headed toward the kitchen, but instead could hear movements toward the music room. When the two men arrived at the music room, they found Vance there, as well as Lupin and Goose. "Hold it right there!" Lupin gave him a cheeky grin. "We are nosy tonight, aren't we?" Faraday clenched his hands into fists. "Despicable! You were in cahoots with her the whole time?" Wait, am I right? Was I wrong? I guess there's no point in hiding it after all. Goose withdrew the demon shark tooth from underneath their hat and handed it off to Vance. The great thief has successfully finished another heist. Oh. You said you were a thief, not a murderer. Murderer? Lupine's eyes flitted from Faraday to Vance to the tooth in her hands. I see. Goose. We messed up big time. If I hadn't been so worried about your health, I would have noticed sooner. What's all this racket? Duluth entered, quickly followed by Nowak and Myers. Goose motioned towards Vance. She's... Faraday lost his patience. Yes! Of course she's the killer! Myers shook her head. No, that can't be true. Miss Vance and Miss Bell have been friends ever since Miss Bell wrote her first Constance Little Bear mystery. Yeah, but I'm getting the feeling that she didn't. Constance. Not Constance, Clarice. Harold withdrew a sheaf of papers. My apologies, Madame, but not a single thing you've just said is correct. Because Vance was not Bell's friend, and Bernadette Bell did not write the first Constance Little Bear mystery. Ah, yeah, I got it. What? What? When Bell gave Miss Myers her autograph, she signed it in blue ink. The same blue ink that she claimed to have used to write all of her stories. But the first draft is written in black ink, with spidery handwriting that differs significantly from the rest of Bell's notes. The spidery handwriting is not, however, only to be found on this first draft. It can also be found... Faraday snatched the small notebook out of Vance's hands and held it open to show the assembled onlookers. In Vance's personal notebook. Not a word of it's true. This is just a distraction. He's throwing accusations around in order to confuse you all. None of you can trust such a vile man or his associate. Hey! I could have sworn I heard you mention that you were the one who recommended Ludicael to Bell. Wait! Was Vance trying to pin this on us? I mean, Ludicael's not a guy I would invite to a party either. But if I was looking for someone shady to take the blame, plenty of people would assume he did it. She invited me, too. She said that Belle had stolen her imp, and she needed our help getting it back. She was supposed to give Belle our calling card, so that Belle would know we were stopping by. Why does she even need our help? Miss Vance, you could have strolled in and asked for your imp back at any time. Boss, it was a frame-up. Oh. She must have figured if Ludicael didn't take the fall, there would be 2 more outlaws as backups. Me? I'm never someone's backup. I never play less than centre stage. All that matters is she had plenty of patsies shielding her from suspicion. So cruel. This is mere conjecture, nothing more. How on earth could I have killed Belle? With the rented kitchen imps. You killed her. You transported her burned body on the the rolling trolley thing. Locked the door behind you? No. Must have locked it later. Had to have locked it later, I think. Because Clarice had to get in when it was a mess. But yes, you did it not yourself. You did it using the kitchen imps. I don't think you personally touched it, Vance. As you've so callously established. She gestured to the hole in her neck. Oh, so she was missing her imp, huh? I have no imp of my own. Not true. You vile thing. I'm not lying. I haven't published a book in years. I was forced to sell my imp. You didn't have your imp. You had several rented imps. As you all know, Vance made our dinner tonight, using one of the cooking imps that makes a flame hot enough to char a person alive. One that, I might add, more than big enough to hold a human body, and soundproof enough to smother a tea kettle's screech, let alone the last cries of poor Belle. And she's had control over them both in the past as well, because she said Belle would rent these imps from the same people often. She used the cooking imp to kill Belle in her office. Then, assuming the imp couldn't move with poor Belle inside, Vance put Belle's body onto the same cart she used to serve dinner. The one with the ivy cloth. She carted Belle's body to the basement, dumped her into the furnace, threw the incriminating cloth in after her, and then screamed, alerting the rest of us. You did it. Admit it. I'm stunned that a man like you was competent enough to put this all together. But solving this... Ooh, that was an achievement for correctly identifying the culprit. Only means you've doomed everyone here. I think we've got a guy with an imp who can stop you doing anything. Even if he is an asshole. So... Fine. What does it matter? I wrote the first Constance Little-Bear mystery. It feels so good to say it. I published it under a pseudonym, knowing that the public would never accept it from me. Me, a respectable writer of beloved fairy tales? Writing tales of blood? It would sully my reputation. The story did modestly. Many readers enjoyed it, including Bernadette Belle. The little upstart. She was a little nothing writer who loved my story and confided her esteem, not knowing that I was the writer. I told her my secret, and she was so excited. She asked to assist me in continuing the series. I even allowed her a small percentage of the earnings. But as we published more and more, sometimes trading off submissions, it became apparent that the public preferred her stories. Well, yes, we were told the first one was weaker. So I let her write. More and more. But she had the gall to suggest she deserved more of the profits. She even confided in her nosy little friend, Gareth Canterbury. Canterbury said it was wrong for Belle to write so much and for me to get all the profits. The series wouldn't exist without me. I, the creator of the series, was falling deeper into obscurity. A certain standard of living is expected by an authoress of my esteem. I had to sell my imp, my creative drive, to keep up appearances. I haven't been motivated to write a single page since. She thumbed at the hole in her neck. It was smaller than Goose's, and thus easy to mistake for an earring. Yeah, it's this, isn't it, that I've been assuming was an earring the whole time. I'd all but given up on seeing my creativity or my glory days ever again. But wouldn't you know, unwittingly, Belle bought my imp. And now there was going to be a stage adaptation of the first story. My story. But the director and Belle insisted on having Belle rewrite it. That was really the final straw. So I dealt with Canterbury, as she knew our secret. And then I dealt with Belle. And now I don't need a single thing in this house to survive. And fire has really done me quite a few favours lately. Why not one more? The oven imp stood in the doorway, flame and iron barring the only exit. This rental imp just became unstable. It lost control and burned the whole mansion down. And tragically, none of you made it out. A shame we didn't catch that it was unstable when it killed Canterbury. What a shame, too, that I will have to rewrite that script myself. Now that Belle's gone. But it will tie the whole narrative up neatly. An unhinged imp. Unfortunate fire. But no one to blame. And the public loves a neat and tidy story. The guests were at a loss for words. Lupine whistled in admiration. Lady, that is a wild story, sure. But you're forgetting one thing. We're not just going to stand around and let you kill us. Goosey, get her! Goose drew a gun from their side and held it level at Vance. You seem to be forgetting about the second imp, which is just as dangerous. The razor-thin knife imp sliced deeply through Goose's hand, and they recoiled, dropping the gun and clutching the wound. Ooh, CG. Oh yeah, you can see Goose's injury there and Lupine trying to help with it. Vance laughed and held her own imp aloft. First, I shall reclaim my creative drive. Then I will claim your lives. And then I will reclaim my career. Harold felt his stomach lurch. It wasn't the merely self-obsessed fear of social discomfort this time, but a sudden terror for the safety of every person he'd locked inside the house. Oh, wait! When we entered the house, Belle mentioned she hadn't been feeling well. And when Goose stole the imp, Belle was full of energy, while Goose was suddenly stricken ill. Ooh! Is the tooth poisonous? I mean, it looks poisonous. That imp is dangerously full of spite and envy. That must have been what made Belle and Goose sick. If you return it to yourself right now, you might not be able to withstand... Vance laughed. Don't be absurd. I have it back where it belongs, and not you nor anyone else will be able to take it from me. Super creativity for illness, would I take it? No, because I think it's gonna go full demon when it returns to her. And I think we're gonna have to seal it. Once I have my creative drive back, I will be returned to the height of my writing ability. How could I, the greatest author of the modern era, be envious of anyone else? You literally just told us. The public preferred Belle's stories to yours. And you killed her for it. How is that not envy? And with that, Vance lined the thin spike up against the hole in her ear. Oh wait, it's that hole up there. Outside of the game, a surge of super creativity, but in return I'll be ill for the rest of the time I had it. I don't like being ill. And it's not very useful to be super creative when if I don't have the energy to actually use it. And when I'm ill, I'm like, I don't want to do things. And drove it straight into her neck. I noticed, Anna. With it reunited to her, she seemed to lose her balance and crumple to her knees. I forgot how this used to feel. I tried to warn you. Imps are complicated, and yours is filled with so much envy. It could poison anyone. But this should be all I needed. To have the same creative drive Belle had. Vance moaned, trying to focus enough to direct the rental imps in her defense. She probably had no idea this thing was even yours. The cabinet was mostly just fake junk. And she probably would have gotten rid of it if she knew it was what was making her so sick lately. Dear, help me tie her up. What? You just assume I have ropes on me? I mean, I do. That's a rude thing to just assume. An hour later, as the sun began to rise over Belle's mansion. Alright, so she's not going demon-y. She's just, very poisoned. Lupine and Goose were the first to make a swift exit out of one of the windows, without so much as a farewell. The other guests left more conventionally. If you can call heading home after harassment for answers by belligerent police conventional. The police cuffed Vance and agreed to bring her in, pending a more thorough check of all the facts. As she was led past Harold and Faraday, she chuckled. You think this was a loss for me? But even if they take me in for a while, I'll still come out on top. Without Belle's notes, who do you think they'll be turning to write that script? A script writer. You can just take the book. You can just take the published book and give it to a scriptwriter. Also, do you think they'll really be making a play out of your book after this? Who are are they going to consult about the direction of the series? Who will write the next story? Soon everyone will know I wrote that first story. Full creative control. It's my series now. The pair watched her go, her gleeful laugh fading away as she was taken out the door. That sounds about right for the level of justice in this city. Disgusting. If the chain does publish the next story, I'm sure as hell not going to read it. While Harold gathered up his things, Faraday slumped over on the couch. Hey, next time you're going to a party, remind me that I hate them. How about I remind you of this? Nobody invited you in the first place. Ugh. Faraday rolled over. Do you at least still have a solicitor? Some kind of lawyer? There's got to be something else we can do so that Vance doesn't get her way. Oh, sure. I'll just hire a lawyer to help Belle's memory. With all the money she didn't pay us with for this evening. Faraday pressed his face into the cushions. We could pull a lupine and help ourselves to payment. Harold sighed. We could probably get away with it. But it just wouldn't feel right, even. Oh, it's Belle's imp again. I have to get my script back from where I hid it. Yeah. Harold dropped his bag and clutched at his arm. Hanging off of his sleeve was Bernadette Belle's imp. You little rascal! When I finished finding that script, I'm going to seal you away. Wait, what? Harold opened up his bag and dangled the little thing above it. Nothing, it's simply Belle's imp again. It got me with one of those accursed jabs. No, before that you said Belle's script. Yes, it's trying to get me to... Harold stopped and the imp hopped up onto his arm. It gave a questioning look. Oh. I think I understand. Belle's imp was made from her desire to continue working. Belle was obsessed with finishing her script when she died. And without Belle around, it seems to need to compel someone else to complete the job. The imp hopped a little, seeming to reach for his hand. Harold lifted a finger and without a second thought... poked it. He pressed his fingertip down against one of the sharp spines. I need to go get the script from where I hid it in the office. Harold was halfway out the door before Faraday could hop to his feet and follow. The imp led them upstairs to Belle's office. Moving his sore hand along the side of the desk, Harry felt around. Ooh, hidden drawer, and found a secret compartment. It slid open with little resistance. They pulled out a large document, all handwritten in blue ink. Faraday gripped Harold's shoulder. She must have suspected something. Does it look like it's usable? Faraday flipped through carefully. He was quiet for a time, taking it in. Hawley? This rewrite fixes all of Vance's mistakes in the first story. I'm sure people are going to like it. Vance is probably going to scream her head off when she finds out. Serves her right. I can't believe something good finally happened tonight. We can give this to Myers and the director and everything will... Shh! I'm reading. 3 months later. In Harold's stray imp-infested house, Harold and Faraday were dressed in their best yet again. Faraday looked down at the 2 tickets in his hand. All that stress and hard work. And she didn't even bother to send us free tickets. At least we managed to get enough money together for them. You think you can handle this? It's the premiere, so there are going to be lots of notable people there. For one night, I promised to ignore them all. Faraday wasn't sure that Harold could keep to that promise, but he appreciated the effort. You know, I heard an imp lost control in the theatre last month. It'd be just our luck to run into that on our one night out. Hopefully we get some sort of free goodies or a shout out. Well, given that we didn't even get free tickets, I'm doubtful. I'm going back to bed. Harold turned around and plodded away. Like hell you are! Get back here! I'm letting my legs go limp. I'll drag you if I have to, you lousy bastard. I earned this damn date. True end! Yay! Success! I enjoyed that. So I'm assuming there must be an end where you don't pick the right person. But I will take my true end. Shorter than you thought it might have been. I mean, I was told initially when I was emailed asking to ask me to play this that it would be 3 hours. It's taken 4.5. Which tracks. Because it takes longer to read things out loud. At least I think I did 3 hours. I must have done 3 hours in the first stream, right? So yeah, that is The Case of a Serialized Killer, which the link to the game on Steam is in the description box if you want to go check it out yourself. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. It has been a lot of fun. I have enjoyed this. So if you're new here and you've enjoyed your time, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on social media, which is linked in the description box. This was the last scheduled stream of this week. The stream schedule is usually posted both over there on social media and over here on YouTube in the posts tab of the channel. There will be a new schedule up later tonight. And the next stream, correct drag, it will be tomorrow, Monday, 7 PM, and we will be finishing Nayata's Root and Variable Barricade. So I hope to see you then, or another time. Once again, thank you very much for coming. And this is Kalla signing out. See ya! Bye bye!